Greetings, fellow time travelers. Welcome back to the Prologue world. We're on episode 78 today, and it's going to be a very special episode I have for you. I'm going to be talking about respect, a topic that I've put a lot of thought into. All right, it's a big topic for me. I have a lot to say about this matter. But also, I'm going to be digging dirt, which is really the more exciting part of this. I love digging dirt. So while I'm digging dirt, I still have this part to dig out. Gosh, is that it? Wow, just that, and then like the dirt that's still like over here in the retaining wall, and then I gotta fill in the retaining wall. Wow, I guess I don't really have that much work left. I hope that I have enough dirt to dig to actually last me for the entire topic. I guess this part over here, I've been meaning to kind of to break this dirt down as well. I might go on to this section if I have more time. Oh yeah, and I need to finally dedicate the second milestone tree. That also needs to happen today. But first, the first thing I gotta do, I have some words to say about what just happened in the last episode, in the last couple of episodes. I mean, in the episode before the last episode, I guess. Now, this event over here that is commemorated by this sign over here. I died to an Enderman very recently, and I need to. I've been practicing. All right, I've been practicing off screen since then, trying to get better at fighting the Endermen, trying to see if it's even possible. See how if I can fight them off with just unenchanted iron gear, with wearing unenchanted iron armor and an iron axe. And you guys know me. I roll with the axe over the sword to begin with. Before I get enchantments, I roll with the axe. But I haven't been able to do it, guys. I actually died to an Enderman again in one of my off-screen worlds, in the liminal worlds, which I haven't actually presented to you guys yet. All right, I need to get going. I need to actually start moving and do things. I'm gonna need another sign to go dedicate the milestone tree. Let's do that first, because I need to do that for sure. It's way overdue. Signs are right here. Yeah, I haven't managed to be able to freaking do it. I've been trying. I ended up fighting like 4 or 5 Endermen, and I got killed once, and in the other times, I mean, I was playing it safely, where I was like near some water so that I could run away easily if the battle got, if it didn't go my way. And that's exactly what happened. It just did not go my way. I ended up having to back out of the fight into some water to escape every time. And I have not managed to actually kill him a single time. I mean, unless you get the first hit. But the problem is, when he catches you off guard, when you accidentally look at the Enderman, you're not going to get that first hit on him. And you have to land 4 hits on the Enderman before the Enderman lands 4 hits onto you. And he's quick with it, and he can teleport behind you. So it's no use just holding your shield up, trying to time the strikes. I mean, technically it's possible if you just time things right and just hold your shield up like this, and right after he strikes you, go ahead and strike him. I don't think you can jump to land a critical hit. I don't think that you're gonna get the chance to do that. You have to look upwards, because he can just hit your head. He is taller than you. Even when you are holding your shield, unless you're like pointing upwards, he can still hit you. So it's the Endermen, guys, I now believe that the Endermen are actually the most dangerous mob in this game for hardcore. I mean, in the overworld, I mean, in the Nether, it gets even more dangerous. I haven't even been to the freaking Nether yet. All right, I gotta do this before the sun sets. This is a wonderful tree. It is finally up to where I wanted it to be. I've re-rolled it like 5 freaking times because it wasn't very big. This one is a nice big tree. I like this a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and finally dedicate this tree. This is my second milestone tree. All right, it looks like I'm gonna need to sleep before I do that. Let's go ahead and sleep before I do that. I'm just gonna pitch my bed right here. Yeah, man, the second milestone tree. I've been over 250 subscribers now for a minute, but I just haven't had the chance to actually dedicate the tree to my 250 subscribers. because it hasn't grown yet until just recently. And I had noticed that it finally grew, and it's finally big enough that I can go ahead and do this. All right, now just waiting for the sunset. I guess we can just take a moment to pause and enjoy the beautiful sunset. I love the sunsets in this game. The sunsets have very special significance to me, which I never really talked about much, but I intend to. Eventually, I'll get around to that topic. I do need to talk about that. Yeah. Let me go ahead and finish dedicating this tree. It's a very an important event. But yeah, man, the Endermen, I think that they are actually the most dangerous mob in the overworld. Because if they land a hit on, if they catch you off guard, man, you have to. My approach to this from now on, I'm going to not try to fight them off. I'm going to just press the escape key right away, and come up with an escape strategy. Come up with what can I do to run away. If they catch me off guard, if I hit them first, that's a different story. If I engage with them on my terms, I'm going to make sure that I'm already nearby an escape route. I'm going to ensure that I'm going to be able have a way to have somewhere to run away to before I even engage with them. That's a different story. But if I accidentally look at him at night and trigger him accidentally, and I do not have an escape route already planned, well, I'm going to need a second sign. That's all right. I'm going to just continue to build up my sign stockpile, because this keeps happening where I end up having to make more signs than I anticipated needing. That's all right. I'd rather do that than go all the way back to the house. So I want 2 signs up on this one, because I want to mention the date at which I actually reached 250 subscribers and the date that I'm actually dedicating the tree to on. Let's see. I'm going to have the torch skirt around the 5th block as usual. All right, and then let's go ahead and put up a couple of signs. Where do I want them? On the 3rd block? I think so. I think we can have it up high, up here. How did I do this? I kind of want to go back and look at the 100-day sign just to make sure that I'm maintaining the format of these oh, I think I remember. It just said first milestone tree. So this one's just gonna say second milestone tree. Excuse me, second milestone tree. Like this. Okay. 250 subscribers. I'm not going to fit in the word subscribe. Well, no, I can. I think I actually can. Can I actually fit in the word subscribe? I think I can. I think I can do that. And then I want to make have a second sign underneath that with a big thank you. There it is. There it is. With a big thank you. Oh, I know how I'm gonna how I want to do this. Let's not do all caps. Oh, let's do this. Let's do the 250 subscribers on this sign. Thank you, 250 subscribers. And then on the first sign, let's just do the. I am gonna change the format. Dedicated. Let's say, okay, reached. Man, how do I want to phrase it? Reached on. No, that's not gonna look right. Let's have the dedication date first. Dedicated 3/8. It is currently International Women's Day. At the time of recording, there is a time dilation effect. You guys know me. We are time travelers here. So this is about like almost 2 months now. I'm recording ahead of time. I reached 250 subscribers on the 20th. which is actually kind of also the same date, which is right after, it was right after the channel anniversary to 2025. Oh, that was actually the same date that I dedicated the second milestone, I mean the second death obelisk on. It's the same date. Does that look right? I guess that looks right. Now I kind of wish that this sign was down below and this sign was up above. God damn it. Do I really want to actually change that? Is this really not acceptable? It's such a minor difference, but I think it would actually look better to have. God damn it. I don't think I can copy the signs. All right, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please just skip this. Please just skip this. But I think I'm gonna actually, because I think that makes a difference. I think it's gonna look better to have the thank you up here. I am such an indecisive person. To have the thank you up here. All right, 250 subscribers. Yeah, I'm just gonna reverse the. I think it's gonna look better this way to have that up here. And then have the this sign say the second milestone tree. I have all the patience in the world. Tree. All right. 3/8/25 reached. 2025. There we go. There we go. That looks better. I like this now. All right. Well, there we go. The second milestone tree is now officially dedicated. I should probably make a little campsite over here. Have like a bed on this side of it, just like I did with the first milestone tree. Among the flowers. Do I want to do that? I have a bed on me. I could do that. Now let's go ahead and do that real quick. Why not? Oh, was that my first? That was my first allium? Allium. Allium. That is what they're called. Let's replant that there. And yeah, I want a bed over here. A permanent bed. These flowers are still a little bit too close. I'm not sure I like how close they are to the bed. Let's just bring them outwards a little bit. Out to like over here perhaps. One there. One like over here. I'm so tedious with this game, aren't I? I know. This is how I am. This is how I play Minecraft, guys. Okay, this is good now. I like how this is now. I got a permanent bed. Or does this actually look kind of funky with a bed right up against it? Looks kind of funky now, doesn't it? Yeah, no, I'm having second thoughts about having the bed propped up. I don't, yeah, never mind. Second thoughts. Let's actually put that over here next to this crafting table. Well, then over here I don't have the tree. I like having the bed over here because it's under the tree cover. It's not even, the tree cover doesn't even cover up the bed. I can't even have the bed on this side. And I'm not about to move the signs over. Okay, it's just not meant to be. I just can't have the bed over here. Maybe on this side? So that it's, I'm completely over here. Does this look better? Move these over to this side. Yeah, I think this looks this looks all right to me now. Okay, yeah, this is better. I like this now. I am so sorry, guys. This is such terrible footage. But this is what you guys are subscribed to. Thank you. I really do appreciate you guys. If you guys are recurrent viewers, I might have like one or two recurrent viewers by now, actually. If you guys stuck around, at the time that I'm recording it, there was one guy. There was one guy that was leaving me comments on like more than one video now. What, Medicat or something like that. Thank you, dude. If you're still around, let me know. Let me know if you're still with me. I'd appreciate that. There might just be that one person. I don't know. I have zero expectations now. I do not have much of a following so far. So yeah, the 250 subscribers, and the number is a bit of a deceptive number, because the people don't stick around. People subscribe and then they don't really actually keep watching. But that's what I get for making such terrible, terrible content. But anyways, I really wanted to talk to you guys about, I need to go ahead and make a second bed. I really wanted to talk to you guys about respect today. I need to talk to you guys about respect. I have a lot to say about this topic. Once again, I haven't researched this topic. I haven't done a deep dive research into this topic. But I've put a lot of thought into it. And that's like this. That's that's kind of the approach that I advocate for. When you approach philosophy, I think you should think about everything for yourself first. Figure out, discern your own intuitions about things, and then look into it. If you want to actually research the topic, look into it. Do that after you figure out what you think, what you make of things yourself on your own first. There's that. Another black bed. There we go. And some more wool added to the wool chest, and it's time to sleep. So yeah, there's a bunch of things I need to say. I have discerned that I believe there are two varieties of respect, of what we... Respect is one of those words that I think people like to talk about a lot. Oh man, I'm still holding the shears. I forgot to drop off the shears. Oops. It's one of those things that people like to talk about a lot, and people invoke the concept constantly, all the freaking time. But if you ask them what precisely do they mean by that, you will find that people struggle tremendously actually trying to explain themselves to you. Let's go ahead and do this again, since they already regrew their wool. Let's do this again. I'm trying to stockpile my wool in anticipation of having to go down into the mines, into the caves, in which there's going to be some deep dark biome going on underneath the mountain over here. I'll have to go down there sooner or later, pretty much right after the cow farm gets completed. That's kind of going to be the next step. It's going to be finally time to go into the caves. So yeah, I believe there are two varieties of respect. Let's go ahead and finally... Man, I want to drop off the oak slabs and the stairs before I actually get into the digging. There's a variety, there's a couple of variations of respect when people talk about respect. There's what I call nominal respect, which is what we all pretend it means, and this is what people generally mean when they invoke the concept of respect. And then there is cynical, what I call cynical respect, which is like the realism, the reality of what it actually means, the painfully, the painful truth of what respect actually comes down to. And it is kind of brutal. But I do believe that there is this discrepancy, and I'm gonna get into that. It's very frequently alluded to, talked about in like the red pill space, that like people talk about how men live subscribe to a different definition of respect, at least in reality. They won't admit to it. They won't talk about it in these terms. But the red pill fellows really like to talk about how there's like two different types of, two varieties of respect. And I agree with their assessment, but not with their approach. I'm still very stubborn about having a strong preference for the nominal respect. And I'm going to get into the details of what the differences are, of what both of those versions of respect, I'm going to more specifically define what I mean by those words. Let's start off with the regular respect, with the nominal respect. So this nominal respect, so this is like, I came to this definition after spending a lot of time just thinking about it, trying to exhaustively figure out what do people generally have in mind when they invoke the concept of respect. And what I came up with is, I believe it's actually a fairly complicated topic, but it's a concept, but it's not incomprehensible. It is a comprehensible concept. I think it comes down to a series of presumptions that you make about the person that you respect. A series of presumptions, and then also a compliance with their expectations of the way that you interact with them. So first, let's talk about the three. I do believe that when we say that we have a respect for somebody, what we mean is that we're making three presumptions about them, and they are presumptions. We don't really know for a fact that these things are true about the person in question that we allegedly respect, but we act as if we believe these things, and that's kind of what you end up doing if you, as a means of demonstrating your respect, you pretend to believe, at least pretend. I mean, you might sincerely believe these things, but you have to at least pretend to believe these things just to show your respect for people. This is what it comes down to, and this is how you approach strangers. I do believe that strangers, people you don't know, that you're not familiar with, I do believe that they deserve your respect initially, to begin with. Oh, we have a pillager invasion. Well, this conversation might have to get sidetracked a little bit, because I might have to fight them off. I have been trying to fight them off every opportunity I get. Oh man, is that like, no, that's just the same lot. That's a bunch of them. Wow, that's a good bunch of them. I kind of want to go fight them off real quick, guys. I only have 8 bread on me. That's not very much, but I'm pretty close to the house. Worst comes to worst, I'm gonna just run away to the house. I think I can do this. Whew. Are you guys ready for this? Let's see if any of them are holding an enchanted crossbow. All right, now they noticed me. I don't see any enchanted crossbows there. Oh, I see. Okay, one guy, the guy that's like next to the chieftain, he's got an enchanted crossbow. I'm thinking if we go out here and go from this direction, they'll all have to squeeze through the hole. Or actually, they don't even have a way to get through the hole. They're gonna have to like run around or something. Oh man, but then how am I gonna fight them off from down here, from underneath? I don't think I can do that. No, I'm gonna have to approach them from the other side, because I'm not gonna be able to. I don't think I'll be able to fight them off from underneath. Well, they're just going to be striking arrows at each other, though. Maybe I can. Let's go ahead and start on that from here, and then if it goes wrong, if they're not just going to kill each other, I'm going to run away to the house. That's the plan. That's the game plan. If things go wrong, if I take like 2 hits, if I'm down to like half my hearts, I am running away. Or I can just run up the stairs. They can't reach me up the stairs either. And then I can run into the main house. All right, guys, I think I'm ready for this. I think I got this. I think I can do this. I'm just going to try to land the first strike. I'm not even sure if it's possible to like jump from underneath. I think I can. All right, let's try it. Wish me luck. Let's go. And run, and run, and run, and run, and run, and run. Okay, very good. That's very good. I did land 1 hit on them. Okay, that's very good. That's very good. I still can't eat. All right, that's all right. I think I can probably do this one more time. And run, and run, and run, and run. Wow, I can just keep repeating this. Oh yeah. All right. Well, this isn't bad. Let's just keep repeating this. I think I can probably kill them off just from doing this. And run. Wow. Wow, this is going to be easy. This is great. Oh, that's wonderful. And run. Oh wow, this is great. This is how you do it. Oops. Well, you see, he hurt me. He hurt me once. All right, there's a few more of them there. Yeah, now I can just stand here and finish them off. Wow, that was an easy fight. Well, that makes it very easy. Wow, when they're just blocked by a gate, that was an easy fight. I didn't even have to eat. I haven't even had to eat yet. Wow. All right. Well, that was fun. That was entertaining. I'll make sure to leave a timestamp in the description. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm keeping my pillager drops right here. That's my first ominous omen, bad omen 5. That's the first one of the fifth tier of bad omen that I have. All right, let's go back to talking about respect, now that that's over with. All right, let's go back to the dirt. I still have plenty of things more to say. So there's a series of presumptions. We're making 3 presumptions about people that we respect. And the first one is the presumption of goodwill. If you respect a person, you're making the assumption that they have good intentions towards you. If you don't believe that a person has good intentions for you, then you do not have respect. Or at least you might be pretending. I mean, if you're just feigning respect, that's still respect. If you're pretending that you believe that the person, that you believe that you can trust a person, that's still a respect. It's nice when you don't have to pretend. That's nice. Oftentimes we don't really get that. We don't have that luxury of not having to pretend, right? But if you're acting in respect, if you're treating a person with respect, that's the first presumption that you have to that you're going to be presenting, right? That you believe the person that you're interacting with has good intentions, not just for you, but in general, that they are a person of a good conscience. Because if you don't believe that, if you were to treat them as if they don't have good conscience, well, that would be disrespectful, right? So that's the first presumption that we make, that we demonstrate, that we present with when we talk about respect. The second presumption is what I call the presumption of merit, and that's the presumption that the person you're talking to knows what they're talking about. That because oftentimes people make extravagant claims, right? People very commonly like to make extravagant claims about things that you might not know. You might not know if they're right or wrong. But if you express your concern, if you express your doubt in the person, if you tell them that actually you don't agree with them, or you think that they aren't right, like if you insist, especially if you insist on disagreement, if you insist that they're wrong, well, that would be disrespectful, especially if they have a claim to some kind of expertise in the field. Like you can't really argue with like your boss at work, right? Even if you think your boss is wrong about something, you still have to at least pretend to agree with them. And that's that second presumption that we make, that the person that we're talking to, that they do know what they're talking about, that they do have genuine experience with this, and they have looked into it, and they've done their due diligence, and they are making an accurate discernment, or at least they're making a good faith assessment. Like at least they believe what they're saying, that they're not lying to you. Well, that's actually the third presumption. I'm sorry. The second presumption is just that you believe that they know what they're talking about, that they are coming from a place of being familiarity with the topic that they claim to have some kind of that they claim to have an understanding of, right? So that's the second presumption that we're making. If you insist that the person is wrong, then that would be, especially if you're saying that they're lying, that would be disrespectful. Or well, just insisting that they're wrong about something that you know better than they do. That's already disrespectful, right? Especially if it's like a person that is in a position of seniority in relation to you. That would be distasteful. It probably would not fly over well to do that, right? So that's kind of the second presumption that we make when treating a person with respect. That's the presumption of integrity, and then the presumption of merit. I'm sorry. The third presumption we make is the presumption of integrity. And this kind of has to do with the presumption of goodwill and the presumption of merit as well. But I do think that it's a separate thing, because you could be lying in good faith, right? You could have good intentions, but feel like you have to lie about something. So I do consider these to be a separate presumption. Like, you're not always lying in bad faith because you're out of bad intentions, right? But when we're interacting with people with respect, we have to at least pretend to believe them, pretend that they are telling the truth, or that at least they're presenting their case in good faith, that at least they sincerely believe what they're saying. And there's a difference. There's a difference in that and in whether or not they actually have the accurate assessment, right? Like, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful to have an opposing perspective, to have a differing perspective about something. That in itself is not disrespectful, unless you insist on it, unless you claim certainty to your position, which most of the time is not warranted. Like, there's very few things that we can really be completely certain of. Most of the time, it's you have to have respect for opposing perspectives, simply because you can't really be completely sure of yourself in just about every matter that you can think of. That's every contentious matter out there. We can hardly be sure about anything. So we are left to for the time being, we live in a pre-paradigmatic world, right? In which in about every field, humanity just lacks a clear understanding about just about anything. So we have to grant the opposing perspective respect. The respect of actually considering their perspective, the opposing perspective, to be viable, that it is plausible that you might be wrong, and that other person that has the opposing perspective from you, they might be right. It is entirely plausible. And for example, like that is my approach. Like, I just made an episode talking about beta Minecraft, right? And I said I made some disparaging comments, let's say, about about beta Minecraft players. I was trying to say that I do believe that a lot of them are, well, it's not, maybe, I'm not sure what the proportion is. Probably not everyone, but some of these beta Minecraft channels, I do believe that they aren't, oops, that's not what I meant to put them into this chest. I do think that a lot of the beta Minecraft players are disingenuous, that they're just doing it for the views, that they do not really care that much about beta Minecraft. They're not actually enjoying it for its own sake. They don't actually think it's all that great. They're doing it because it gets them clicks, because it's a trend. So that's a bit of a disparaging comment, right? Like, I'm calling them out and trying to say that they're being disingenuous, but I'm not completely certain of that, and I'm not going to name call. I'm not going to point at any individuals, because ultimately I can't really make that assessment with certainty. I don't really know if any particular individual, if any particular beta Minecraft YouTuber, I can't really know for sure if they're being disingenuous or not. That's just my personal opinion, my personal assessment. And to be completely fair, I do think that many beta players are completely sincere and are doing it in good faith. They really genuinely believe that beta Minecraft, they sincerely enjoy beta Minecraft, and they do sincerely think that for them, from their perspective, from their point of view, they believe that beta Minecraft is as good as the game has ever been. It's the golden age of Minecraft, and that's the way that they most prefer to play the game, and that's the only way that they play Minecraft. I do think that there are people out there like that sincerely believe that and sincerely find beta 1.73 to be the only version of Minecraft that is worth playing, because it's ultimately the best game, the best version. So why play any other version if that's the best version, right? So I do have respect for that, in the sense that I'm going to make the presumption of integrity. I'm going to assume Until I can know for sure, until I know for sure otherwise, I'm going to assume that every beta Minecraft player out there, every beta Minecraft YouTuber is doing it in good faith because they genuinely believe what they claim to believe. Even though I'm going to have my suspicions that some of these people are just grifters. They're just doing it for the views because it generates traction. It draws because it's a big trend right now. Beta Minecraft. People are like enjoying their beta Minecraft experience. I think it's kind of like, I think people, it's a phase. I think people go through a beta Minecraft phase, and that's when they probably watch a lot of these beta Minecraft videos. But then I think it's like a 2-week Minecraft phase type of deal, where they kind of dip their toes in it, and then they quickly encounter the many different bugs and many different downsides of beta Minecraft, and they just get burned out on it very rapidly, and switch back over to modern Minecraft. That's my speculation. But that's just entirely speculative. I don't really know. I don't interact with any beta Minecraft players directly. Like, I kind of know a person that was into that, but I barely talk to them. I mean, I haven't talked to them in years, so it's already, like, that trend has already been going on for years. So for all I know, they probably continue to play beta Minecraft. I don't know. So I'm not going to insist that these people are liars, that they're all grifters, because I don't really know that for a fact. So out of respect, I'm going to make the presumption of integrity, that they really do genuinely believe what they claim to believe. All right, despite my suspicions. So those are the 3 presumptions that I think we basically make when we claim to have respect for someone. We assume that they have good intentions, the presumption of goodwill. We assume that they know what they're talking about. That's the presumption of merit, right? You assume that your boss is right, or at least you pretend to believe that. And you assume that they are genuine, that they aren't lying to you, or at least you pretend to believe that. Okay. And then the final component of respect is our compliance with their expectations. And that's when people talk about respecting boundaries, that's what they're talking about. People have an expectation of a certain level of decorum from you for when you interact with them. Like, you're expected to at least pretend to go along with the narrative that this person puts forth, that this person is in the narrative that this person is trying to, the framework. You engage with this, you pretend to conform to the framework that the person in question that you're interacting with is presenting to you, that this is their reality, and out of respect with them, for the time being, for the time of the duration of your interaction with them, you're going to conform to their narrative and act as if you're not going to, you don't have and not voice any kind of and not be trying to be, not express any kind of disdain for that perspective, right? Even if you do have some disdain for it, perhaps you have some kind of a grievance against the perspective that person is putting forth. For the sake of respect, you're going to comply with their expectation of you and not express your disdain for what they're saying, and kind of go along with the narrative that they have a valid and a completely valid point of view that you do respect, that you do consider to be, and you very well might have disdain for it, but despite, you might believe that it's a viable perspective, right? You might not entirely disagree with it, but still have a strong suspicion that it's a deceptive, that it's not a legitimate perspective, right? So it might not be one or the other, right? But for the time being, for the sake of respect, out of respect, you're going to conform to the narrative that this person is setting up right? And that's kind of where when people talk about boundaries, right? They want to, like, if they don't want to talk about something, or they don't want to hear you talk, they don't want you expressing some kind of discontent with whatever they're saying. If they aren't willfully interested in having that conversation, then it would be disrespectful to insist on engaging them on that topic, right? So that's also a form of, that's kind of how that's what I mean when we talk about respecting people's boundaries, right? Like, we don't want to push their buttons if they make it clear to us that they're not really, that they might find what you're saying offensive, or they're not comfortable having that conversation. Then out of respect, we ought to comply with their expectations of you not pursuing, not arguing the case, not arguing the point, not trying to insist, not trying to make them uncomfortable, right? Not to avoid being, like, it would just be rude to try to continue to press them on such a thing. I'm just going up to drop off this stack of wheat seeds because I don't want to have a full stack. Where did I have? I guess I don't have a chest dedicated to that yet. I want to have like a chest just for the wheat seeds. Or maybe let's just keep all of that in one chest. This is just going to be my chest of... Oh wait, I'm going to have a farming chest though. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a farming chest. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't put anything in that farming chest yet. But that's the bottom chest. That's where these actually need to go. Right here, this chest. I avoid it entirely. But no, it's because I haven't started farming yet. That's why I've been avoiding it. That's where the seeds are gonna go. And then the dirt. Well, I mean, I've been keeping dirt in over here, but it's almost full. Yeah, I want to just go back to that other chest. Although I need to make shovels too. That's all right. I'll make shovels in the crafting table by that other chest. Let's run back over there. Deposit the dirt. So that's basically that, and that is what I call nominal respect. That's only the first form of respect. That's what we mean by respect when we talk about respect, right? That's on the surface. That's what we talk about when we mention respect, when we invoke the concept of respect, right? And I refer to that as nominal respect. That's what we all pretend to mean by when we talk about respect. Now, the thing is, the people in the red pill sphere, in the red pill space, will tell you that there is more to it than that. That in reality, the cynical reality, the unfortunate reality that we actually live in, is that all of this nominal respect, well, it's just a facade. That's just the surface. That's the superficial surface. That's the impression that we put on. But in reality, that's not actually how it works. In reality, there is a pecking order to respect. It is not mutual. In reality, and I refer to this as, I call this cynical respect, right? This is what people actually subscribe to in reality. And they won't admit to this, but in reality, we're conforming to a pecking order in which if a person is above you in that pecking order, then they do not, there is no consequences for them to disrespect you, and they do not really have respect for you, and people that subscribe to this perspective, at least, people that are like that, people like to call this narcissism, or covert narcissism. I like to call it egotism because I don't like the term narcissism. I think egotism is a more accurate term. But that's just me. It's more commonly referred to as narcissism, but it's really a very, very common phenomenon. It's really just pervasive. So it's hard to even call it narcissism, because in a way, I do feel like people probably feel like they're forced to be like that. They don't really have the option not to, because it's just the cynical reality, the offensive realism of the world that we live in, right? The John Mearsheimer's offensive realism, but on like close on interpersonal relations as opposed to international relations, right? This is the offensive realism of interpersonal relations that we all fall into, well, especially in official settings, in settings like the work setting. This is very common, that there's actually a pecking order, and the people that are like your senior workers and your bosses, you will commonly encounter that they will disrespect you constantly, all the time, passively, passive aggressively, in covert ways. People will be very sneaky, will come out. You will be surprised how avidly, how much enthusiasm, how much to what extent people go to passively disrespect you, to do things to you that they know you can't stand, to make your life miserable, right? In cowardly ways, like indirectly, right? Just to disrespect you, just to not comply with your expectations of them. People will insist on breaching your boundaries, they will insist on making you suffer, on making you feel miserable. If they get a hint that you're dissatisfied with something, that there's something you don't like, then they're gonna double down on it and make sure that you will experience more, that you'll get, that they'll give you a face full of it. They'll shove it down your throat if you express your discontent with the way that they're treating you. They are under no obligation to treat you kindly and to conform to your expectations of them. No, there is no genuine, legitimate collaboration there. No. But I mean, on the surface, they're going to pretend. On the surface, they'll make it look like they have respect for you. On the surface, and we'll all pretend to have this nominal respect for each other, but passively, in reality, no, that's not the case. If you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and what am I doing? I've completed. I've done it. I've done everything. I've shoveled it. Oh, that's right. There's more shoveling to do. There's the retaining wall. Let's move on to that. Let's do that too, and then I might be actually done with the shoveling for the time being. But in reality, it's not really how it is. In reality, you're at the bottom of the pecking order, and the people above you, they're going to express their disrespect. They will not respect you until, for a very long time, perhaps never, but basically until maybe until they retire. Or, it gets really, really ugly, where people will just, it's very common, because if it's like your manager, if you have a crappy manager, and it's very common, like I can't even blame these guys, because they probably feel like there's no other alternative. Like, they have to conform to this system, to this hegemony of deceit, as I call it, the hegemony of passive aggressively being constantly doing as much as they can to hassle you, to make you feel like you're not good enough, to make you feel like you're not welcome, you're not really like they don't like you, to make it clear to you that they actually do not like you at all, and that they want you gone. They're going to do everything they can to drive you out passively, in passive ways, and you have to tolerate that. You can't do anything, and you won't be able to do anything in return, because you are at the bottom. You can't complain about it because you don't have any credibility. They're gonna make all kinds of claims about you, and they're going to be, because they've been at it. They've been there for so long. Well, they have a claim to their credibility. So they can say all kinds of shit about you that's not even real, and make up shit about you, and there's nothing you can do about that. So you have to conform to their frame. That's what the red pillars talk about when they talk about a frame, right? When you're just joining in, you're going to be at the bottom of the pecking order, and you have to conform to the frame of the boss man, right? And that's kind of like the unfortunately, I do believe that's basically true. Like this and that is what my experience has been thus far in works environments. And sadly, that's what my experience. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, I'm still unemployed, guys. I still have not actually gotten into trying to apply to places, so I still haven't actually started to look for work. But my expectation is that this is basically pervasive, and that's how it is everywhere. So I don't even expect anymore that it's any different anywhere. I kind of just expect that this is how it's going to be everywhere that I go. And this is the kind of just the unfortunate reality of the world that we live in, and there isn't really much you can do about that. All right, I'm done with them. Oh, that's right. I wanted to get some stone. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep. Let's go ahead and sleep, and then I'm gonna get some stone because I want to. There's like a couple of spots there where I wanted to fill in with stone. And then next step, I'm going to need to fill in the retaining wall with planks. I think I got some stone over here. I just put like 3 of these. Zombies are at the door. Yeah, I'll bring what little is left of this. I'll bring all of this. Well, I can just stash this in here. There's still enough space in here for a few more stacks. So yeah, that is the cynical kind of respect. That's the kind of respect that unfortunately we end up having to endure, to live with, to conform to, because that's just the unfortunate reality of the hegemony of deceit that we live in, of the world, right? And frankly, until you can, and I'm of the persuasion that eventually, I'm not going to have to conform to that reality. That eventually, I'll find a way to not have to conform to that. That perhaps I'll have like the fuck you money or something like that, to where I can be completely transparent and I'm not going to have to be forced to pretend, right? I hope that at some point in the future that this is that I will actually eventually find myself in that. Oh, I already patched this one up. I thought there was like a cobblestone here that I also wanted to patch. That I guess I already did that. Oh well, that's all right. Okay, well I don't really need that other stone then. I'll just bring it back. And then that kind of completes my talking points for this. Yeah, I'm not really on board with the red pill. I think I agree with their assessment. I think they're right about this assessment that this is the reality that we live in, but I don't agree with their approach. I don't agree with the approach of basically conforming to this reality, of just playing along and just being one of them, going along with the hegemony of deceit, and being like that yourself. I feel like I'll be that way only to the extent that I absolutely have to be that way, right? To the extent that I have to pretend to agree with my boss even if I actually don't, just because I don't want that to reflect, because it's a respect of superior power. These people have the power to make your life miserable, because you can't, it's even if you quit, you don't want to quit on bad terms, because then like you still need to quit on good terms so that your next employer can call your previous employer and get a good word about you from them, or at least to make sure that that your previous employer doesn't have a whole bunch of dirt that they can isn't going to dish out a whole bunch of smack about you after you leave. So you still want to maintain, at least pretend to have respect, right, for your superiors. And that's kind of and the red pill approach is that basically this isn't only what we have to align us. This isn't only what we have to pretend to go along with, but this is actually the superior way to do it. This is the only way, the only approach. That trying to do anything else is not even viable. It doesn't even work to be trying to be a goody two-shoes, to be trying to not to avoid having to conform to that. That's just a lost cause. You can't even do that in reality. Like, you have to conform to the minions, right? To the minionhood of the hegemony. So that I don't agree with that. I can't do it. My conscientiousness is too strong. I don't have it in me to actually to sincerely conform to that. I'll pretend as long as I actually have to pretend. I will, just because that's unfortunately the reality that we're dealing with, that we live in, right? But you're gonna know that I'm just pretending, and in all fairness, it is a bit of a liability for them to have people like that they know are actually just pretending, that they don't actually conform. They're not actually. They don't conform to the ways, the minion ways, right? They resist actually being that way themselves. They're still trying to maintain a clear conscience themselves, right? So that's what gets me in trouble all the time, because I'm like that. I try to maintain a clear conscience as much as I can, and it's blatantly obvious, in work settings. People will know that you're like that. You're trying to do the right thing all the time. And the problem with that is, even if you're not snitching anybody out, even if you're like not doing anything to directly make that a problem for other people, over a long period of time, it might still rub off badly on your seniors. It might still, you might make them look bad or something. So you're still a major liability for them if you're going to be like that. And I think that's where the red pillars are coming from, that essentially there is no alternative. You have to conform to this cynical realism of having to be a minion, having to be what's the next step is filling in the retaining wall with logs, with planks. I can go ahead and get started on that while I'm still finishing up my points, my talking points. Gosh, it's a long episode today, isn't it? I had a lot to say. It's a lot. I mean, it's a big topic. Okay. So I really appreciate you guys bearing with me. If you're still over here, if you're still with me throughout this. But I think this is a very important conversation. It's a topic that I've put a lot of thought in, and that's a topic that I had a lot to say. I don't really need these shovels. I can drop the shovels off. This is the chest for where I keep my spare tools. Let's go ahead and drop them off here. Wow, I'm running out of room. Out of spare tool room. Uh-oh. I might have to make like a second layer over here for the spare tools. Put my boats up on this, into this layer. Yeah, out of space. That happens. That happens sometimes. That's okay. Well, I can bring one of the shelves along. That one's not broken yet. All right. Well, I guess I'll save I'll go back to the retaining wall next episode. I basically said everything I wanted to say. I can just conclude the episode here. That was basically it. That's all I had on my index cards. That was a big topic. That was a lot to get off my chest. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation. It would be really nice to hear something from you in the comments. If you guys have thoughts about this, I would really, even if you disagree, I encourage disagreeable comments. So please, if you disagree with me about these things, I would really appreciate you voicing your disagreement. I would, I'd be very respectfully would be very happy to engage with you in a conversation about this in the comments. So please, you're very welcome to disagree with me, or to even, to troll comments are welcome. The only thing I really don't like is is grief. People that just grief on you. People that cowardly leave you dislikes on your videos and don't even say anything. Don't even tell you why they didn't like it. I consider that just straight up grief. Oh, I can go ahead and break the slabs around that tree now too. That one's also ready. That's the only thing that I don't really like, when people grief me, right? So I would appreciate if you don't do that. Please don't, if you don't like something I said, please just freaking have the courage to actually tell me what you didn't like, instead of just leaving me a dislike on the video. That's so cowardly. I think that's such a cowardly thing to do, to just click the dislike. How am I supposed to even know what you didn't like? You're doing that just to be nasty, just to be an asshole. It doesn't actually. There's no. Yeah, I'm just gonna cover this up. I don't want to have ender hole ender holes everywhere. I don't want to have these escape. I'm going to just... I'll figure out where to run away to the next time I actually encounter an Enderman fight. I'm going to be very cautious now. I'm going to respect the superior power of the Endermen. I'm going to be very respectful and very cautious in my approach to Endermen now. I died to an Enderman in trying to practice. I couldn't do it, guys. So they're the most dangerous mob in the game, and I really have to be very cautious every time I engage with them. All right, there we go. That's done. Yay, beautiful tree. This tree is great. Fantastic. I'm very happy with how that turned out. That tree still hasn't grown. I guess I never put up the fence posts around that other side, around that tree. I guess I can do that real quick too. Well, I don't know. I'll leave that for tomorrow. For the next episode. I might record it tomorrow. I've been recording these episodes basically almost every day. That's how I'm so far ahead now. Yeah, this episode's not getting released until friggin' May. We're still on March 8th. I'm almost 2 months ahead now. Cheers for the time dilation. But on that note, I really got to bring this episode to a close. I got to land the ship here. It is time to land the ship. In the next episode, I'm going to come up with another topic to discuss, because I'm still not done. I still got a bunch of fairly repetitive activity. I need to fill in the retaining wall. That's the next step, and then I gotta put up a bunch of fence posts around here. We're getting there. We're getting close to actually completing the cow farm. And then after that, we're gonna move on to actually going into the caves and actually getting some diamonds. Because I'm gonna be ready, once I have the cows going, I'm gonna be ready to start enchanting. Because it won't be long, once I have the cow farm completed, it won't be long until I have all the cow skins that I'm gonna need to complete my enchanting setup. And then I'm going to be ready for diamonds. I'm going to be ready to start enchanting a diamond, to start rolling for a Fortune 3 pick, and for blast resistance on some diamond armor. That's where we're headed. That's going to be that's the next stage of the game. And then after that, I'm going to build more stuff up, and then I'm going up to the mountain and building stuff up on the mountain. But that's later. That's after I get enchanted diamonds. That's the next step after this. All right, that's enough. That's enough of this episode. Thank you guys very much for bearing with me. It's been a long one. I suspect this might have been like an hour and a half. I feel like I've went on for a really long time this time. But I really appreciate your viewership, and I hope to hear something from you. I hope that you guys leave me some comments about this. Let me know what you think, all right? And I will see you next time. All right, guys. Shadowlay, my fellows. Shadowlay.